Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us. Today, we wanted to look at one of the most amazing devotees of the Lord, and that's Visakha Sakhi. Yesterday, we had a glimpse into the mood and the bhav of Lalita Sakhi, Lalita Devi, one of very close gopis to Radharani, a very close, very, very close friend of hers. To understand the wonderful devotees of the Lord, especially those in Braj, we have to be careful. We have to understand that these are not ordinary personalities. They're actually pretty much non-different even from Radha and Krishna, because they're the first expansions of Srimati Radharani. If somebody says, I want to become a gopi, actually you can't, because these are elevated, exclusive positions. However, if one says, I want to become a servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis, then that's very much possible. Because that is the mood that we have been given in this Guru Parampara. And it's a very exalted situation for us. We are very fortunate. We are amongst the lowest of the lowest, but yet somehow or other, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, they can make us eligible for the highest position in the spiritual world, and that is serving Radha and Krishna. Now, in order to be able to do this, we need to understand the glories of these wonderful personalities we're talking about. So, it's very rare to find somebody in this world who can show us the method by which we can worship the Supreme Lord and make him our own. There's no one in this world can teach us this process. It's very rare to find someone who can bring us back to Godhead, back home. And such a personality must be from that realm himself. And that's Prabhupada. He's very kindly come to this world. He's given us his Bhaktivedanta purports. He's given us the temples. He's given us the process. We are very, very lucky. One time, Parvati asked Lord Shiva. She said to him, Parvati is the Dharampatni of Lord Shiva. And she said to him, Prabhu, how is it that you experience such peace of mind? You are always blissful, content. You do not neglect or show contempt to anyone. You have conflict with no one, and you need nothing. What ras do you taste that carries you above this world? Who do you worship? Who has taught you the process to become like this? I am always with you, but you never asked me for water to drink. You never asked me for cloth. You never say, I am tired. Please massage my feet. You never asked for anything to eat. What ras are you tasting? What is it that you have? Who has given it to you? Please tell me everything. You are my husband, my Lord, my Guru. You are everything to me. Through strong practice and worship, I have attained your lotus feet. Now please, tell me the practice you follow to be completely peaceful, so I may also be absorbed in the same rasa that you are relishing. So she was, Lord Shiva is always meditating. He's always calm. He's always peaceful. So Parvati is inquiring from him, how is it that you get this, peace? Even though you're so powerful, you don't need anything. So Lord Shiva answered, this is actually a very famous verse. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam param Tasmat paratmaram devi Tadiyanam charanam. He says to Parvati, of all types of worship, worship of Vishnu is the best. But better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotees, the Vaishnava. So this is the glory of the devotee. Lord Shiva himself, who is actually the topmost Vaishnava, is saying to his Dharmapatni that better than the worship of Vishnu, Vishnu's worship is great, but better than that is the worship of the devotees. Why is that? Because it's only through the blessing of the devotees that can we realize the absolute truth and our position. Oops. The mood of the devotees of Braj is regarded to be the most exalted, exemplary. However, the Brijvasis actually don't worship Krishna. They don't address him as Bhagawan. They don't say to him every morning, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna. In fact, they would say something a lot more personal to him. They do not do his arti. They do not sit him down. They do not wash his feet. They don't drink his chanamrit. Every morning, we bathe Shyam Sundar. And then we drink the nectar of his chanamrit. But Brijvasis don't do this. On his birthday, Yashoda Mai calls the Brahmins, they bathe Krishna with cow dung, cow urine, milk, yogurt, and ghee. Why do they do this? To bless him with a long life. Does the Lord need to be blessed with long life? Does he need to be blessed with auspiciousness? They chant protective mantras and they give him Raksha Kavach, to guard his body. They pierce his ear and they take hair from the tail of a cow and they make a special garland for him to wear around his neck to ward off evil spirits. Why do they do this? Because they've completely given themselves to Krishna. They have a possessive attitude towards him. And they can say, you are mine. Others worship Krishna. And they never forget Krishna. Krishna is in their thoughts, in their hearts at all times. Never, even whilst they're sleeping, even whilst they're eating, bathing, doing anything, they will be absorbed in Krishna Leela, Krishna consciousness. Others worship him and they call him the Lord of Lords and glorify him with many verses. This is one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's on the first canto, 11th chapter, 7th verse. Bhavanastvam bhava vishva bhavana tvam eva matata shuhat pati pita tvam sad guru na paramam cha daivatam yashanu vritya kritino bhavuvima. O Creator of the universe, you are our mother, well-wisher, Lord, Father, spiritual master, worshipable deity. By following in your footsteps, we have become successful in every respect. We pray, therefore, that you continue to bless us with your mercy. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this will be like a general prayer, which most devotees of Krishna would pray. But the Brijvasis don't pray like that. They don't pray for his blessings. They bless him. They bless him to be protected because they have the mood that Krishna is mine. So where does this mood come from? And why is it so exalted? Why is it so exalted? Everybody is praying to Krishna for something, protection, blessings. But actually, Krishna's eternal position is that of a cowherd boy. He wants to be pampered. He wants to be loved. If everybody is just always asking for blessings, he doesn't feel completely comfortable in that role. Why? Because his mood is of reciprocation of love. And when we're asking for blessings and asking for money, it's very formal. There isn't any rasa, any taste in that. There's no feeling of love necessarily. But the Brijavasis, they have this overwhelming love for Krishna. And they regard Krishna as theirs, for them to do their best to protect him. They reciprocate with him, and he reciprocates with them in a mood of loving transaction, loving dealings with each other. So he loves being pampered. He's the Supreme Lord, he's Atma Rama, he doesn't need anything. He's satisfied in himself, he's happy. But still, he enjoys the rasa when the devotees want to give him protection. They claim ownership over him, as opposed to the other way around. I am yours, my Lord. That's not what they think. They think you are mine. It's completely opposite. And Krishna relishes that mood. He loves that mood. So Uddhav prayed like this. Vande Nanda Vrajastinam Padarinum Abhikshna Sa Yasam Hari Kathot Giritam Punati Bhuvanatayam. He prayed. I repeatedly offer my respects to the dust from the feet of the women of Nanda Maharaj's cowherd village. When these gopis loudly chant the glories of Krishna, the vibrations purify the three worlds. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 47th verse, 63rd, 47th canto, chapter, 63rd verse. He's saying, he's paying respects to the dust of the feet of the lotus, of the feet from, of the women of Nand Maharaj's cowherd village, Vrindavan. So now, who is Uddhav? Uddhav was a very close associate of Krishna in Mathura and then later in Dwarka. Krishna would consult Uddhav. Every decision Krishna made, even if it was a simple decision, he would consult with Uddhav. That's how close they were. And Uddhav was very happy, of course, in that position. Perhaps thinking, Krishna values my devotion to him, my love for him. So one time Krishna sent him to Vrindavan with a message. And Uddhav could understand that these personalities in Vrindavan were special because Krishna sent him as a messenger. But only when he got there did he realize how exalted they are. He came with a mood of preaching to them that don't worry about Krishna, that he is everywhere, he's present in your heart. But when he saw the mood and the love that the Brijavasis had for Krishna, how they were just remembering him in separation, with tears, floods of tears would come down their eyes because of the separation. He realized, I have no devotion. I have nothing. I am nothing. He was the advisor to Krishna, right? But he in comparison with the devotees in Braj, he was thinking, I have no devotion compared to these amazing devotees of Krishna. So that's why he hankers for the dust of the Brijavasis. What does Lord Brahma say? Lord Brahma is the Adi Guru. He is the founder of this sampradaya. He's the original spiritual master in the material world. And he's the head of this sampradaya. So he also glorifies and yearns to attain the lotus feet of the gopis. So this prayer is from the Brihad Vamana Puran. Let's have a go. Shasti Varsha Sahasrani Maya Taptam Tapapura Nanda Gopa Braja Strinam Pada Renu Pala De Tathapi Namaya Praptas Tasam Vai Pada Re Nava Naham Shivascha Sheshascha Sheshcha Tavi Samat Vachit. So, excuse me. Sri Brahma said to Brigu and the other rishis, although I performed severe austerities for 60,000 years to attain the dust from the Vraj Gopis' lotus feet, I am unable to attain it. You should clearly understand that I, Brahma, Shankar, Shesh, and Lakshmi are not equal to the Vraj Gopis. So when we talk about these gopis, we must understand that these are the most exalted devotees of Radha and Krishna. And we really seek from the bottom of our hearts their blessings to get their lotus feet. Even Brahma saying 60,000 years he did tapasya and he still didn't get the dust of the lotus feet of the Braj Gopis. We are very fortunate because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for this purpose, to give us this Braja dust, this Prema Bhakti. Not just Krishna Prema Bhakti, which is even higher than Krishna Prema. So when we look at the exalted positions of these gopis, we must realize that we are very, very fortunate, and we have to really focus our bhakti so that it becomes, it matures so nicely that we constantly are yearning for the dust of these exalted Brajbasis, the gopis especially. So today let's have a look at Visakha. She's the second of the Sakhis, next to Radharani. She was born on exactly the same moment as Sri Radha, and so she is exactly the same age as Radharani, being eternally 14 years, 2 months, and 15 days old. So this is, she's the same age as Srimati Radharani. She's an expansion of Srimati Radharani, as is Lalita, as are all the other gopis. Her bodily complexion is like lightning and is similar to Krishna's. And sometimes when Radharani is angry, in a jealous mood, her color appears to be that of Srimati Radharani. Her dress shines like the cluster of stars. Visakha's father is Pavan. Her mother is the daughter of the sister of Jatila, Shuddakshina. And her husband is Vihika Gopa. Visakha is expert in humorous dealings with the divine pair. So if you recall yesterday, Lalita had a very aggressive mood, especially she would train Radharani how to deal with Krishna. So Visakha's mood is different. She's much more gentle and reconciliatory. And she also especially has this special flavor in joking with the divine pair. Her advice is hard to overrule. And she can speak joking words to Sri Krishna like no other. You can just imagine her joking to Krishna and Krishna laughing and laughing. She knows the heart of the hearts of the divine couple. And although she is more exalted than the younger gopis, the gopi messengers led by Brinda Devi, she also takes up the work of carrying messages between Radha and Krishna. These devotees are actually very humble. Visakha, Lalita, they're exalted beyond our imagination. But that exaltedness doesn't make them proud, makes them humble. Talkative, Visakha is expert at joking with Govinda. And she's perfect counselor of the divine couple. Being expert at all aspects of amorous diplomacy, she knows all the arts of how to conciliate an angered lover, how to bribe him, how to quarrel with him. She's very good at making leaf tilak, garlands, crowns, magic tricks, puppet, dance, etc. Collecting paraphernalia for Surya Puja, speaking different languages. Her service is dressing and ornamenting, and her kunj is named Visakha Nandada. Her entourage is made up of Malati, Madhavi, Chandralekha, Gunjari, Harini, Chapala, Surabhi, Subhanana, and other Sakhis. These are the ones she's very, very close to, who run around for her. Visakha's favorite instrument is the Madanga, and her favorite tune is the Rag Saranga. So she plays the Madanga. So she's the original Madanga player, the original Madanga guru. Her mood is called Swadini Bhartak, which is the mood of a heroine who controls her beloved, but in a soft and a gentle way. Whereas Lalita's mood was quite aggressive. She would be in confrontational mood. If Krishna would say something, you can guarantee she's going to say exactly the opposite. This is how she would conquer Krishna. But Visakha's mood, the way she conquered Krishna, was a different way, giving Krishna a different flavor, a different ras to enjoy in a soft and gentle way. Unlike Lalita, Visakha has a different way of dealing with Madhav when he acts in a contrary way. Her temperament is Adhika Madhya, moderately exalted. Visakha is very intelligent. When Krishna does pastimes, she has pictures of all these activities. So she's also the origin of WhatsApp, or by the looks of it. She has a ring that can take pictures and record like a camera. In her ring, she can see reflections of all of Krishna's activities. So she's wearing the ring, Krishna's somewhere else, maybe at home, maybe in the forest with the Gopis, maybe in the kunj with somebody, some other gopi. So Visakha's got a tracking device on him. She can see exactly what he's up to. This is like a camera connected to a satellite that takes pictures of wherever Krishna is. Takes pictures of him while he sleeps, wanders in the forest, goes to Kamyavan or any other place. She can see where Krishna is with this ring. Visakha arranges different dramas. She'll make a drama of what Krishna did when he woke that morning, how he played and met with Yashoda. The Manjaris quickly learn and they dress as Krishna, steal butter, do naughty activities. They reenact how sometimes Yashoda Mata offers Krishna some butter, but he pushes her hand away. Why does he do this? He wants the butter that is brought by Radharani. He pretends that the butter his mother gives is not tasty, and he makes a strange face. So they do these leelas. Krishna is doing these pastimes with his mother. Visakha is seeing these pastimes, and then she's relaying these pastimes to Srimati Radharani. And the Manjaris, they get into drag, they get into the mood, they start doing a drama, they dress as Krishna, they do the stealing. This is how they constantly focus on Krishna, remembering Krishna, loving Krishna. The Manjaris can imitate Krishna's pastimes and how he associates with Yashoda, and they reenact these pastimes. And Krishna watches these reenactments with Radharani. So Radha and Krishna get huge enjoyment by these wonderful transcendental activities. Visakha is very learned in many branches of knowledge, just like her scholarly father. So all of these gopis, they tend to take after the father. They acquire the qualities of the father. She's expert at making different arrangements for the divine couple to meet and experience different mellows of love. So the meeting of the divine couple is one of the most relishable pastimes that the gopis enjoy, the manjaris enjoy, and of course the divine couple enjoy. And then when they separate, they have had an argument. Probably Lalita has conjured an argument. That separation is also sweet because they're reenacting Krishna's pastimes and Radharani is remembering. And then when they meet again, it's even sweeter. She skillfully paints flowers and leaf designs on the divine forms of Srimati Radhika and Sri Madhav, makes different kinds of crowns for them out of flower garlands. She renders the special service of Vastra Lankar, or arranging for the clothing and ornamentations of the divine couple. Along with personally embroidering Shishi Radha Madhav's cloth, Visakha also supervises the Sakhis and their assistants who produce and care for their lordship's clothing. She also directs the maidservants of Brinda Devi, who maintains the flowers, vines, creepers, and trees of Vrindavan. Her maidservant is Vilas Manjari. Visakha explains the glories and specialties of Srimati Radharani. Sometimes she explains how Krishna uses his Leela Kamala, pastime lotus, or a garland. In the afternoon, Visakha draws a picture of Krishna and shows it to Radharani. Like now, you can see pictures on the internet with a laptop, and you can speak with your friends from different parts of the world, especially nowadays in the lockdown. All this comes originally from the spiritual world. There, Lalita or Visakha will draw a picture of Krishna and show it to Radharani, and it can become real. Krishna comes out of the picture and be before Radharani. Because Krishna's form and Krishna himself are non-different. Just like Krishna's name is not different from him himself. In the spiritual realm, they're equal. So it's not too difficult to understand that when somebody draws a picture of Krishna, Krishna is present in that picture. And especially in Golok Vrindavan, he pops out of the picture. So we can't do that with the computer. But in the spiritual world, they have this power. They can manifest whatever they have spoken about. Why? Name and form are non-different. Whatever she speaks is pleasing to everyone. All the Sakhis and the Manjaris, and also those in Krishna's party, are delighted by her talks. She has equal love for both Radha and Krishna. When Krishna suffers in separation from Radharani, or Radharani suffers in separation from Krishna, Visakha can't tolerate this, and she's ready to give up her life if it would help arrange their meeting. And she's expert. She can bring them together because of her joking and her gentle nature. And Lalita will try to keep them apart from some time, so that when they meet, the relish, the enjoyment is even greater. So although it appears that Srimati Visakha comes second to Lalita, she's actually Srimati Radhika's dearmost girlfriend. Shri Radhike Tava Charita Guna Rupam. Her qualities and characteristics are very similar to Radhika's. They're so similar that they are almost like twins. Remember, they were born on the same day. Visakha's other form is the Yamuna River. Whenever Sri Madhava sees Visakha Devi, he immediately thinks of Radha. They've got the same complexion as well. Whenever Sri Radha sees Shyam, dark blue waters of the Yamuna River, she immediately thinks of Madhava. So Yamuna is a little dark in color. Ganga, by contrast, is lighter. And we can see that contrast, especially when we visit Prayagraj, Allahabad, Triveni. Visakha appears in Gaura Leela as Sri Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai, so Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that no one's knowledge can compare to Ramananda Rai in the field of the divine couples, Madhurya Rats, or sweet conjugal affairs. Upon meeting Ramananda Rai for the first time, Mahaprabhu told him, "My dear Ramananda, both you and I are madmen. Therefore, we meet intimately. We should meet intimately on an equal level." So this is from Shri Radha Krishna Ganodesha Deepika by Rupa Goswami, but also it's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In fact, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's several chapters dedicated to this conversation between Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very sweet discussion. And one time, I think, when it was the appearance day of Ramananda Rai, we went through that particular discussion, how Chaitanya says to Ramananda Rai, "Tell me the best of devotion. What is the best in devotion?" And he starts by saying, Varnashram Dharma. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Now that's external. Tell me more. Tell me more." And he explains the teachings of the Gita. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, No, that's all external. Tell me more. And then eventually they start talking about the Brijvasis, how serving and loving devotion is relishable. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Yes, but tell me more." And then Ramananda Rai describes the Sakhi mood of friendship. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Yes, very good, but there must be more." And then he explains about the Vatsalya mood. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again said, "More." And he explains about the Gopis. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes a little bit pacified. But then he still asks Ramananda Rai further, "Tell me more about the Gopis." And then Ramananda Rai talks about Srimati Radharani. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in complete ecstasy. So this Ramananda Rai is none other than Visakha. And when he met him in the south of Bharat, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda Rai, "You are a minister of this government. I want you to resign and come to Jagannath Puri, and we can relish these pastimes together." And Ramananda Rai did. Immediately, he left his position, went to Jagannath Puri, and they remained together. Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also Swarup Damodar was known as Lalita. So between them, they relished these wonderful pastimes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really enjoyed the association of Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. So this is Visakha. This is, of course, scratching the surface. We can't ever know these wonderful personalities. But what we can do is seek their blessings, seek their mercy from the core of our heart to let us into their world as their servant, or the servant of the servant of the servant. And that is guaranteed, because that is guaranteed to give us the entrance. Why? Because these devotees are very, very kind and merciful. Because that mercy comes from Srimati Radharani. So I wanted to ask devotees, Madhusudan Prabhu, would you like to share any realizations, please?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, nice to, let me just. Nice. Hare Bol. Oh, sorry, okay. Yeah, sorry, Hare Bol, Nabi.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol to everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, as we were talking yesterday, you know, that these pastimes of and the Gopis, and especially tomorrow then being Radharani's appearance day. So I'm sure, you know, amongst all the Vaishnavas, they'll be focusing on the intimate relationships that these devotees have, and especially in Brijbas, in Vrindavan. And so it's very intricate, you know, what you've gone through here with all the different mantras and the prayers by Lord Brahma, and also, you know, different mantras that you can use to sing. But these devotees are expert, you know. When we see the qualities of each of these different devotees, obviously, you know, you think, you know, if the absolute truth is totally complete, then in that completeness, there must be something that is incomplete as well. Otherwise, how can it be complete? So in that incompleteness within Krishna is what he himself lacks in his Ananda Roop, you know, his expands his Radharani, you know, and then Radharani is the Hladini Shakti, and from Radharani expands into the Asta Shakhis. These are all the different, you know, Visakha and Lalita and Tangavidya, and they're all, each of these Gopis have their different qualities, and they each do different things for the divine couple, for Radharani, to enhance their Anand, the pleasure potency. And it's quite interesting how, you know, that sometimes in the material world we think there's certain things, how can this be in spiritual world? How can there be an afternoon in the spiritual world? You know, sometimes you wonder, how can there be, like you said, you know, there's a ring there she wears, which is capturing all the pictures, a bit like our Apple Watch or something. And then, you know, you think these things exist, but actually exist in the spiritual world. And then we have the propensities within the material world, but then our propensities are directed in the wrong way yesterday. So it's quite nice to listen to all these different qualities of each of these different gopis, and especially coming to, you know, talk about Radharani. And these are quite intimate as well. So it's not very easy to understand. As you say, you know, we can quite easily, with our mentality, with our mind, we can quite easily turn this into a pervertedness with our mentality, and we start to think, oh, you know, Krishna has so many girlfriends, and but, you know, the very close associates like Raman and Roy, they themselves keep appearing to make us understand these pastimes. They even appear like Visakha appeared as Raman and Roy in Chaitanya Leela. So in different Leelas of Krishna's, all these different associates will come. They'll write books, or they'll write explanations of, they like dohas or poems or poetries, all these different things with music, and And these acharyas are all different expansions of Krishna and Radharani. So even the Sakhis expand into manjaris and manjaris into another manjaris, and then they keep expanding, and finally all the acharyas are all part of the expansions, and they understand the intimate and the intricate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So we're able to get a glimpse of it, at least, with this. But we should understand it with a proper frame of mind, and not, in sometimes not with the Bollywood mentality or something. If I might say, but we need a spiritual master. That's why we need spiritual master. And we have these propensities to serve Krishna in different ways, So when we start to, you see how, different pujaris in Mayapur, they decorate, or rather, they dress the Gopis and Radha Madhav, and some are very good at making garlands. Some are very, very good at jewelry. They understand all the different intricate jewelries to decorate, and what goes with what jewelry, and what dresses go with what. And then you see how that bhav comes out. And when you give the darshan, then you realize, wow, this is amazing, how each of these different pujaris and devotees have understood how to dress these deities. And this is how they do it now, but in the spiritual world, these gopis are doing it. So, no, thank you, Nabi. You've done quite a bit of good research here, and to explain, at least give a glimpse of the gopis and in Vrindavan. But when you understand, when you read books like Venu Gita and other pastime, then we can understand a little bit more. But we can grasp the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Even, Radharani will say, Krishna is more focused on, I'm going to speak Bhagavad Gita and all that, but Radharani is more merciful. That's why, when Prabhupada at one time, I think in one of his lectures, he was saying, Krishna is the highest, because in Bhagavad Gita he says, there's no truth higher than me. There's nothing higher than me. Then Prabhupada said, there's nothing higher than Krishna. No one higher than. Then he actually pauses and says, actually there is, and that's Radharani is even greater than I. Even she captures Krishna's attention. And then she's so merciful that Krishna might actually, when he's looking into our bhav as well, and when we try to surrender to Krishna, and Krishna will check everything. Oh, has he done this? Has he done? Oh, have you done this? Have you chanted round? Have you been a good devotee? Have you been in a mode of goodness? And now have you transited mode of goodness? Are you in the mode of pure goodness? He might check all these things before he can qualify. But Radharani will say, no, look, he's surrendered. Doesn't matter. They're not perfect devotees, but at least, you be merciful, like a mother would, And she's merciful, and then she can give the attention to Krishna and make him mellow down and accept our surrender, actually. So that's all I can say, Nabi. But you've done quite good work here.
No, thank you for sharing that. And I see Prabhupada, I was looking at that. Prabhupada says that he will say to Krishna, he's better than, or they're better than I am. This is how she would convince Krishna. Be merciful on them because they're better than I am.
Yes, she would even be humble enough and say, look, they're tempting. They will serve you, they'll serve. But our mood is always, we want to be the servant of the servant of the servant. Forget it, Gopi pada kamalayam dasa dasa no dasa. So we can understand how to serve. You can only learn from somebody who knows how to serve perfectly. So, our mood is not directly how we can serve Krishna, how the gopis and their, even is it the kinkaris?
Yeah.
The expansions, yeah. They even understand the Radharani's mood, and other gopis' mood as well, you know. So there'll be some kinkery, some they understand even Visakha's mood, because they've expanded from Visakha. And so now it's very intricate, very interesting, but we're long way to go to
Oh yeah,
understand this.
no doubt about it, no doubt. But it's good to know,
Yeah,
what's there,
good.
and hopefully it'll inspire us to be a little bit more focused.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
that's why,
idea.
you know, that Prabhupada, when he instructed the devotees to do these paintings, like you said the other day, that these paintings are the windows into the spiritual world.
Yeah, yeah.
And these paintings are so beautifully done because they're done with devotion, and you can see the devotion in there. There's no element of kind of lust in it, or sexuality within it, or like a perverted mentality. But
Yeah.
Prabhupada used to criticize sometimes, you know, some of the artists would draw paintings of Krishna and Radha and in a very lusty posture and this, and you know, and say because they're not doing it out of devotion, they're not doing it with a proper understanding as well, and they haven't been, you know, taught properly. I mean, only an expert like, you know, these manjaris coming in the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these Goswamis, they are actually these kinkaris and acharyas. They come to teach us and guide us and give us a glimpse. So they've written all these different books, like, you know, your references to several of these books here. So it is with that understanding that we have to do that. But in India, sometimes the artists would draw and very lusty kind of pictures and all that. And that's not the true representations of Krishna and Radha and Gopis and all that.
Any questions or any comments from anybody else? Is everybody asleep?
Oh no, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Oh, Naniben, Hare Krishna. Very good.
Yes, yes. No, all this is so new to me. So it's very interesting to understand from you a little bit more, because all this is very new. I knew about the 8 gopis, but didn't know about the different characteristics. So it's a very nice session today. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. It's, yeah, we've done quite a lot of philosophy, Bhagavad Gita. So I was thinking with the philosophy, otherwise with philosophy it can become very dry, you know.
Yes.
Of course, it's Krishna's philosophy, so it's not dry. But we also need to understand the sweetness of the Lord and his devotees. And these devotees are where there's so much sweetness and nectar. And if we just understand a glimpse of the sort of the relish they give Krishna, then it might just inspire us a little bit more to advance in our own spiritual life. These subject matters are very confidential, not often discussed in the arena of classes, but I'm taking a little bit of a chance because, you know, everybody here pretty much has gone through the Bhagavad Gita with us. So they will not take these pastimes as lusty pastimes of ordinary people. These are divine pastimes of the divine couple. So important to understand that bit, that we are talking about pastimes which are very intimate, but at the same time, they are performed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his eternal consort, who's non-different from him, actually. So, these are, yeah.
Is Radharani, can she be considered as internal potency of Krishna?
Yes, she is absolutely that. The Hladini Shakti, we went through that yesterday, and we're going to go through it tomorrow as well, because tomorrow is actually her birthday.
Yes.
And it's said that Radharani's birthday is more important than Krishna's birthday. So tomorrow we're going to do Abhishek of Radha Madhav, and then we will go through a little glimpse of Radharani, who she is, and what she does, a little idea. Not, of course, we can't. I remember our spiritual master on one Radhasmi day, we asked him about Radharani, and he wouldn't say anything about Radharani. And because her, these topics are very confidential. But if we don't know anything about this incredible divine person, how are we going to get to love her? How are we going to get to develop feelings? So as long as we understand the right mood, not that these are ordinary persons, these are really the most exalted person that ever will be there, then we can start to begin to develop some relationship with them. It's very important. And especially we want, sorry, go on, Mataji.
No, I've got a question, but you finish yours.
No, go on, I'll finish.
Yeah, thing is, I always wonder after all this, when Krishna leaves and goes for Dwarka and as a king there, I wonder what would happen to all these gopis and the Radharani. It's a very bit of a sad part of the story, isn't it? From my point of view,
we did a 1 hour seminar on this. Actually, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan.
Yes.
He never leaves. What happens is in very brief summary, there are two Krishnas in Vrindavan. When he's in Vrindavan, there's only one Krishna. But as soon as he leaves Vrindavan, the Krishna known as Vasudev Krishna leaves. But Nanda or Yashoda Krishna stays back in Vrindavan. He never leaves, ever. Even when he was born, to Yashoda Mai, is generally known that a girl was born. But actually, our acharyas tell us there was a girl and there was a boy as well. The boy is Yashoda Krishna. And when Vasudev brought the Vasudev Krishna over from Mathura to Gokul, those two males merged into one.
Okay.
And then when Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, it was Vasudev Krishna who left. The other Krishna stayed in Vrindavan. But because the gopis saw Vasudev Krishna leave, it was completely imprinted on their mind that Krishna's left. And they would be shedding tears and floods of tears. But Krishna was right there, but they would not even see him because they saw Vasudev Krishna leave. They were just completely convinced he's left. But actually Krishna was there and he was witnessing their separation. And in that separation, actually, there was the mood of that love between Krishna and the gopis multiplied many fold. Something for us.
Gopis never met Krishna afterwards, after that, isn't it? After Vasudeva Krishna left.
After Vasudeva Krishna left, they met him in Kurukshetra one time.
Oh, yes.
In order to, and then that's the Rath Yatra festival, pastime. But actually, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Actually, he never leaves Vrindavan. So he was there all the time. And they would enact past, they would never forget Krishna. And he was witnessing all this. He was seeing, and he was saying to them, I can never repay my debt to you because you don't want anything from me. How can I repay you? So he was, and then as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, he stole, because he couldn't understand how much love. He was thinking, I'm just Krishna. How can this most beautiful personality love me so much? Radha. So he stole the bhav of Radha and he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in that mood of Chaitanya, he relished the bhav of Radharani, although he couldn't control it completely. It's very intricate. These are really confidential subject matters.
Yes.
And when we go to the Bhagavatam, we'll catch a little bit of it. But after the Bhagavatam, there is the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that's where it's given in some detail.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Thank you for those
you,
questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody else like to say anything? Any experiences? Okay, so now we can chant the Nishinga